Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We apologize for the technical difficulties. The weather in the Philippines is not really good. I think especially in the region where Dr. Glenda and Miss Nicole and the rest of the SRG team are. So we apologize for that. I'll just proceed with the presentation. Dr. Glenda was about to talk about the rationale of the six-pillar capacitation model, why the six-pillar model came about, and how it would help startup organizations achieve sustainability and greater impact in their respective missions. But we will jump to the boot camp proper, the orientation of the boot camp proper, what to expect in all of the 6 days that the boot camp will be happening, and the different outputs also per pillar. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen, Miss Nicole?
Yes po.
Yes po.
So we are having the 4th batch of the SRG Philanthropic Development Bootcamp starting next week, November 3 until December 9, 2022. It will be held for 5 Thursdays because the last Thursday is a holiday here in the Philippines. And so the last session will happen on a Friday. So November 3 is the start, and then for 5 Thursdays thereafter, except for the last session, which will happen on a Friday, December 9, because December 8 is a holiday here in the Philippines, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So the boot camp, just to set your expectations, and hopefully your expectations about the boot camp will more or less meet reality. So what it is a 6-day crash course on how to set up your PDO, or what we call the Philanthropic Development Office, or the office responsible for linking possible partners and donors and volunteers to your different mission and advocacies. So it will tell you how to set up your mission, your PDO, so that you could fulfill your mission, attain your objectives, and attain also long-term sustainability of your organization. So for each of the 6 days, we will be focusing on a particular pillar under the SRG 6-pillar capacitation model. Please expect that there will be assignments and worksheets for each of the pillars. And at the end of the boot camp, each participant will be able to make a presentation of your PDO and your key advocacy or advocacies using the 6-pillar capacitation model as a guide. So the bootcamp will help you understand better the different pillars and ignite the creation of the different outputs under the SRG 6 pillars capacitation model. So these are the 6 pillars. First, we have leadership and governance, which looks at your directions in your organization, your purpose for being, your vision, mission, and goals. What do you want to achieve in the next 1 year, in the next 3 years? And everything that we do in our organization is rooted in our leadership and governance. Then we have, for the next Thursday, we will be focusing on program development and management. That will be on November 10. That's program development and management. It will talk about your advocacies, your different programs, how to craft your programs and your advocacy so that they are truly answering the needs of your communities. It's getting to know your community better so that your programs will be better suited for their particular needs. How do you manage your program so that it will really bring about impact? And how do you put those in writing, the different things that you do for program development and management? How do you put those in writing so that those outside your organization will be able to understand the good that you are doing? So it's setting up systems to ensure that you are answering the needs of your constituents and communities. And then on the 3rd Thursday, we will be talking about philanthropic development, the philanthropy development pillar that will be on that will be on November 4th, November 17. So November 17 will be about philanthropy development. It will talk about how knowing that you have programs, knowing that your programs will have impacts or will answer the problem of your different beneficiaries. On the third Thursday, we will talk about how do you rally supporters to your cause? How do you convince other people, other organizations, other institutions to connect with you and support your cause, to share in your vision, to share in your mission and support you? So that's philanthropy development. On the Thursday after that, which is November 24, we will be talking about financial planning pillar. It's about developing your financial roadmaps so that you could attain sustainability. You could have resiliency against risk and constancy in mission. So after you have gotten the funds from philanthropy development, we assume that you are now receiving donations, you are now getting funds. How do you manage those funds sustainably so that you answer the needs of your organization, not just for today, but but also for the future? So that's the fourth day. The fifth day of the boot camp, we'll be talking about database management, and that will be on December 1. So December 1 will be about database management. How do you use data? How do you use data in your programs? How do you use data in philanthropy development and also in financial planning? So we will talk about data as support to all of the things that you are doing in your organization. And lastly, on the sixth day, December 9th, that's a Friday, as mentioned, we will talk about ecosystem building. It is igniting and empowering your own ecosystems, the ecosystems of your own organizations, and also being part of a bigger ecosystem of good here in Spring Rain. And it will talk about how do you work with other like-minded organizations so that you could share resources, learn from each other, minimize weaknesses, and address challenges together. So in a nutshell, those are the 6 pillars, and those are the things that will be discussed in the 6 days that you will be attending the boot camp. So aside from giving you an overview of the different outputs per pillar, the bootcamp will also help you understand better the philanthropic development system. This is the system that we are using for fundraising, and this system encourages organizations not only to focus on the middle part, which is how to get donors and how to get donations, but to also look at the left and the right part, the interaction between the implementation and management of your programs with getting sustainable donations. So hopefully with the bootcamp, you will be able to understand the system better and apply the different steps in your organization. So we will be going through each of these steps in the bootcamp. So just to give you the different, an overview of what to expect also, or the different outputs that you would need to make for each of the pillars. So in leadership and governance, we are talking about making your vision, mission, and slogan in your organization. It's listing all of your advocacies, all of your programs per advocacy. So for example, your advocacy is to care for the homeless. Your different programs could be building homes for the homeless, feeding the homeless, providing livelihood opportunities. So those are programs underneath each advocacy. And identification of your initial funding needs for each of your programs per advocacy. And then leadership and governance also talks about the manpower, who will run your organization, who will be implementing your programs, and those could be your ambassadors for advocacy. And then who will be doing the other things, the other tasks needed in a PDO, like liaising with donors, writing all the reports, organizing events, managing the database. So that's your manpower and organizational structure. We will learn on the first day who are the essential people that you need to be able to run the office. And if you don't have budget right now to have to hire many staff, how do we divide the work so that your one staff, your two staff will be productive and efficient in carrying out their duties? It also talks about the importance of having a governance or an advisory board. It also talks about strategic planning and then succession planning. Not all of us will be permanent in our positions, in our organizations. How does your organization prepare for a succession? How do you prepare when you are reassigned to a different office or a different province or a different community? Who will take charge? Then it also looks at having administrative policies or manual of operations to guide also the next people in line in your organization, so that even with minimum supervision, those who are in the organization will know how to do their work. And then the importance of regular progress reports for monitoring and checking if we are able to achieve our plans and our goals. And then leadership and governance as the one really that is the skeleton of everything that we are doing in the 6 pillars. And also it will dictate also the kind of engagement that you will have with SRG moving forward. Under this pillar, we will also talk about how do you want to engage with SRG. After the bootcamp, how do you want to engage with SRG? And later I will go through with our options for membership and for consultancy. So that's for leadership and governance. For program development and management, here we will have your problem 3, theory of change and logical framework for advocacy or for program. This will help you define if your different activities under every program is truly contributing to the change or the impact you want. So it will help you filter those activities that are not contributing to success. And once you have your logical framework, we will have now your detailed funding needs that are matched according to the different activities for your program or for your advocacy. And then we will write that in a grant proposal. And program development also talks about not just implementing the program and not checking if it is truly giving you the results. So there's impact monitoring and evaluation. And also, how do you make a funds utilization report? So once funds are in, how do you report back to the donors how the funds were spent and how the funds impacted or changed the life of your beneficiary? So that's those are the things that we will be looking into in program development and management. Third pillar, philanthropy development. Donation administrative policies. This talks about the donations that you can receive, the donations you won't be able to receive. This also talks about what happens if you have an endowment fund, policies for naming rights, policies for when you receive a donation, what will you do with the donation? How do you turn over the donation to the program implementers? How do program implementers request from the office should they be needing funding? It also talks about if you receive a donation and that's 100%, how many percent will be allocated to programs and how many percent will be allocated for administrative expenses? So those are your donation admin policies. We will also look at your donation portals, how you are receiving donations, the different ways that you can receive donations, and the different types of donations that you will be receiving. Then we will another output under philanthropy development for a while. Another output under philanthropy development is the making of a resource generation or a fundraising plan. This is looking into the different strategies to raise funds and plotting them month after month. So this is what I'm going to do in January to raise funds, and this will be for the advocacy and in education, for example. In February, I want to raise for the advocacy on health, and and I will have a concert. This is my strategy. So your resource generation plan plots the different strategies that you will be doing month per month for the year so that you will be achieving your funding goals. Then when you're finished with your resource generation plan, then you need to have a communications and marketing plan to support your various resource generation strategies. What do I mean by this? So for example, you said that in February, you wanted to have a concert to raise funds for your advocacy in health. So when you are when you have a concert, what are the things that you should prepare? Maybe you should prepare a video to promote the concert, your social media strategy, your solicitation letter so that you'll get sponsorship, your tickets for the concert. Of course, you need to have a singer, you need to have the program for the concert itself. So that's your communications and marketing plan. It breaks down the communications and marketing collaterals you need to produce to be able to put the strategies into place or to implement the strategy. Then in philanthropy development, we also have your branding. Do you have already a logo? Do you have colors? How if people ask you what your PDO is, can you tell them what it is in 1 to 2 sentences? What is your brand? What do you stand for in your organization? And then it looks at your different communications and marketing collaterals. Like, do you have a website, a social media site? Do you have brochures or newsletters or videos or ready solicitation letters, etc.? So these are the things that we will be discussing in philanthropy development, and these are the things that you will be producing under this pillar. Fourth pillar, financial planning. So for financial planning, we look at your financial and accounting systems. If they are in place, of course, we start with the very basic. Do you have books and ledgers? Do you issue receipts? How do you record the ins and outs of your different financial resources? So we look at that first, and then your assets inventory, your risk assessment, whether you already have an investment plan, your policies for putting up endowment and trust funds, how can endowment, the computations that you need to do for you to be able to project how much endowment and trust fund would you need to install. Do you have match grants? Are you able to get match grants? Social enterprise, do you have a social enterprise or a business that will help you raise funds for your PDO? And then how to make an overall, the end result is how to make an overall financial plan for your different advocacies and for your whole organization. Database management is we look at different types of data. First, your baseline data on your community needs. For you to know if your programs are truly answering the needs of your community, you need to know what your community needs are, even before your intervention with them. So we map what your community needs. So we map your beneficiaries. And then we also have a database to map who in your community or who in your ecosystem can you count on to be prospective donors. And then once they already give to you, they are no longer prospects, but they are already donors. So there's also a database that you need to have to manage your donors. And why is this important? Because without a database, then it will be hard to take care of your donors, to develop a relationship with your donors. And you will be learning on the third day of the boot camp that fundraising is not really just about raising funds, but raising donors. So for you to be able to take care of them, there should be a database to manage specific donor information. And then how do you use your beneficiary database, not just for baseline community needs, but also for monitoring and evaluating the impact of your different advocacies. The importance of regular submission and knowing how to analyze your data. And of course, very important, what is your system of keeping the data? So do you use free tools or do you use a data management software? Those will be discussed under this pillar, database management. And lastly, our sixth pillar, I know you are already overwhelmed with all of the things I have been enumerating, but this is our last pillar. So at ecosystem building, we look at two things. First, we look at your own ecosystem. How do you create, empower, and work with your own ecosystem? And lastly, how do you work with the SRG PDO ecosystem for different things like program implementation, fundraising, and advocacy? So do not get overwhelmed. Those things are a lot to swallow. And during the boot camp, these things will all be discussed. So it really is, the bootcamp is really a very intensive, in-depth training of all of those of all those different outputs per pillar, and how you can jumpstart the preparation of those different outputs. But do not worry, because SRG will continue to work closely with the different participants in establishing your office and getting you ready eventually for fund facilitation through one-on-one mentoring, coaching, and maybe further training. So for the participants who are here, for those interested participants who are here, we would like to invite you to answer the pre-bootcamp assessment form. I hope some of my colleagues will be able to share, maybe Miss Nicole or Miss Presa from the Training Development Unit will be able to share the link to the bootcamp assessment form in the chat box, so that it will be easier for our participants to answer. So we need this so that we know more or less your status in the different pillars. More or less, we'd get to know if you already have a vision mission, if you already have a database, if you already have donor administration policies, etc. So please answer this Google form. It's just ticking some check boxes. So I mentioned earlier that the bootcamp will just jumpstart the relationship with SRG, and after this there will be coaching and mentoring on how to accomplish the whole lot of outputs per pillar, and we're going to do that through membership or consultancy services. So here in SRG, you have two options of how two general options of how we will partner with each other for your capacitation. So first, there's membership. In membership, you get to attend our different training, our different conferences. So there's Thursdays with SRG, we have the boot camp, we have other workshops on specific outputs per pillar, like how do you write a grant proposal, or how do you make a logical framework, how do you make a resource generation plan. We also have workshops on strategic planning sessions. So as a member, depending on the tier that you will choose, starting from general membership, which is $500 per year, to silver membership, which is at $2,500 per year. It depends on your membership tier, how many workshops can you attend. And for any excess workshops or conferences that you will be attend, there will also be corresponding discounts. So if you choose to become a member of SRG, you get to attend these different training and conferences. We will coach you until the part that you are able to submit the different assignments per training or per workshop. But that's it. There's no regular monitoring. There is no regular coaching of your progress month after month. For example, you have a workshop on resource generation plan. We will coach you until you are able to make your resource generation plan for the year. That's included. For your membership. Like for a silver member, you wanted to have a resource generation planning workshop, we will coach you until you are able to make your resource generation plan. But to monitor if you are doing your plan month after month, and if your strategies are working month after month, that is no longer covered by your membership. And for you, if you think you would need a closer interaction or a closer mentorship from SRG, then choose our consultancy option. So after the boot camp, once you are able to understand better the different demands or the different outputs that you need to have per pillar, then you could choose. I think I need more coaching. I think I need a more one-on-one relationship for SRG to follow me up month after month on the progress of my establishment of the different pillars. So you choose from option 1, which is a more regular, more intensive coaching, or option 3, that option 3 is for longer term PDOs who are already set up, who more or less have the systems in place and would just need our coaching once in a while. So from option 1 for newbies to option 3 for those who are more senior in SRG. And all of these options actually contain a subscription to Pledge Front, which is a special software developed by AlphaTech Global Solutions and Spring Rain Global. So it has the 6-pillar capacitation model in mind. So it's not just a database management software, but also links the funds that you raise to the to how it was spent, how each fund was spent, how each fund was able to help a beneficiary. So it's really a 6-pillar capacitation model database. So lastly, who can attend the bootcamp? We encourage you because we are offering group rates. So for those who are availing of the group rates, please maximize the bootcamp and have all of your team members attend. They could be your board and executive team. They could be your program managers and implementors, your fundraisers and communications or event management personnel, your database staff, or your finance and accounting team, etc. So for the fees, it ranges from 45,000 to 60,000 per pillar. Depends if you are already, if you are a nonprofit or a for-profit organization. So the 45,000 to 60,000. It's not per pillar. It's per organization. I apologize for the typo error. It's 45,000 for all of the 6 pillars already, for the whole bootcamp already. And this is equivalent to 1 month of the consultancy fees. So that is why after the bootcamp, we will help you so that you are able to, we will coach you until you are able to submit the different worksheets, because each pillar will have worksheets or assignments. So there's a bit of coaching after the bootcamp so that you'll be able just to submit the worksheets. And then if you are a silver and bronze member, there is no need to pay an additional 45,000 or 60,000 because it is already included in your membership. And we have also decided to open the course, to open the bootcamp to individuals. For individuals, it's 3,000 pesos per pillar. But if you would like to avail of all the 6 pillars, we can give you a discounted rate of 2,500. So yeah, that's it for me. Do you have any questions? Were my colleagues able to share already the link to the assessment form? Sorry. Walang nag-share. Okay. Sige po, ako na lang. I will share it na lang. So this is the link to the assessment form I mentioned. Kindly fill it up. Do you have any questions about the bootcamp? Hi, are there no questions? Is everything clear? None. Okay, if there are no questions, I'd like to call on Dr. Glenda to say a few words. Dr. Glenda, are you here? Yeah.
Can you hear me, Miss? Hello?
Yes, Miss. We can hear
Hello,
you.
Miss Kel.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Miss Glens.
Sorry, I really apologize. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Kel. I apologize for the internet connection. Hindi na ako mag-share ng slide. I just like to affirm lang yung mga sinasabi ni Miss Kel. Hopefully, the reason po why we are doing
Miss Glens, you are
bootcamp is because we believe na the only way for us to be sustainable in what we are doing is to put systems in place. And bakit po siya we emphasize
okay. We really apologize for this. It's really raining very hard in Cebu City where Dr. Glenda is. So I hope that you are excited for the boot camp this Thursday. Do you have maybe you could share your expectations for the boot camp, what you expect to learn, what are you looking forward to, and let us know if you will be attending. So I'll start with the different participants who are here. Miss Maika from Caritas Manila. Hello. Miss Maika, can you share with us your expectations regarding the boot camp? What you want to learn if you will be enrolling in the boot camp? Maybe Miss Maika is not around. I'll call Father George. Father George, you are on mute. Father George, we can't hear you po. You are on mute.
You able to hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I am very happy to hear all the information that you have given us. I think you are thoroughly well with your subject. You are able to say all that. But what I say is, we are not so thorough as you are. You are a professional in that particular subject. I am thinking if you can give us, you keep all the 6 pillars with the details, maybe in the mail. It will be a lot of help for us, people like me, because I work in only a limited area. So I am happy with all that, the information that you have given us. I should say that you have really booted me. Thank you.
Thank you, Father George. We will be sending what I discussed. We will also be sending here in our chat box.
Good, good.
Thank you very much, Father George.
What really mean is, you gave me all the 6 pillars. You are able to follow my English?
Yes, yes.
The 6 pillars with all the details, they are very good. If you could keep those things in the mail so that we can take it and do personally, that will be nice.
Okay, I understand.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Father George. How about from Father Shyam? Shyam. Hi, Father.
Good afternoon to all.
Cham, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It is nice presentation that the Dr. Glenda has been many times and repeating, and thank you also to for the presentation now. Surely the certain ways of making it more professional and also looking at the continuity of the projects. That is what is really presented in the 6 pillars. So which we really value it, because the how you have modeled it, and it is truly very grateful steps. And these steps and will help us more and more to see that how to systematize our own organization, and also to see to channelize through different means, and how we have to make our organization more professional. And this is what the thank you so much. And we also same thing as Father George said, we also wanted the guidance and regarding this 6 pillars, in order to make our organization also and more systematic in our own approach dealing with the donors.
Thank you very much, Father Sham.
Thank you.
Miss G. So Miss G is a veteran of the bootcamp. Miss G, would you like to share your thoughts also and your expectations? Will BCFI be attending the bootcamp again?
Hi, hello, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Actually, this is my third. So hopefully to add more additional information and learnings. And so part on the new management, hopefully they can learn more so we can walk in the same direction.
So there will be new people from BCFI who will be attending the bootcamp, Miss G.
Yes po, kasi Father Alan and other volunteers po.
That's good. That's good to hear, Miss G. So thank you po for believing in the bootcamp and referring it then to the newer members of your team. Thank you po. And please don't hesitate to attend then also, Miss G, because we are updating all our PowerPoints naman every time that we have a bootcamp to reflect the latest din po, the latest things that we also learn with respect to the different pillars. So from SPDO Tondo, may I call on Miss Jo Domingo, also a veteran of the bootcamp. I think this will be your second time, Miss Jo.
Yes, good afternoon po. Yes, this is my second time, and hopefully ma-absorb bonggang-bongga.
Sorry,
So that
sorry for that.
hopefully, absorb ko na po siya ng husto, and para po at least mas maging malinaw po sa amin yung purpose namin kung bakit kami nasa SPDO ng Tondo. Yan po.
Okay,
Thanks.
so thank you. Miss Jo, will there be new attendees po from SPDO Tondo in the bootcamp?
I think it's Mr. Jimmy Cruz is interested to join.
Okay.
Yes. Yan po.
Sige po. Thank you, Miss Jo. Looking forward to having you in the bootcamp. And is it okay to call Miss... Ay, nawala na siya. So I think those are from the prospective attendees. I hope those were not able to attend. Okay. Miss Anne, please mute. Thank you. Okay. So are there other questions or other expectations you would like to share? I regret that not so many of us could be here today, but a recording of this session will be made available to those who expressed interest to join the bootcamp, but because of some technical difficulties or scheduling difficulties are not able to attend today's orientation. For those of you who are here, thank you very much for your time. I guess if there are no other questions, we could wrap up this call so that
Miss Kel,
yes.
sorry po.
Yeah.
I'd like to read lang Miss Glenda's message.
Okay.
Apology.
2 weeks karon sa akong gisuwayan ko.
Apology signal is really not favorable at this time. Thank you for joining the orientation, and what we intend to look into for your organization is to start your journey towards long-term sustainability. All the best, and we hope to see you all. And please feel free to visit our website, www.springrainglobal.org. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nicole. So I guess what Dr. Glenda was also trying to say earlier was that the importance of putting systems in place in the 6 pillars, because we all were able to raise funds at one time in our life. We all had experience in liaising with donors, getting donors to support our missions. So why is there a need to have the 6 pillars? Why is there a need to install the system? This is so that you could continue to raise funds sustainably, not just to answer the needs of today, but to build up your funds, your raise donations, so that they could continue to answer the needs of the future. So I guess if there are no more questions, we look forward to having you join us this November 3rd for the first day of the SRG Philanthropic Development Bootcamp. The sessions will start at 9 o'clock a.m. in the Philippines, Philippine time, 9 o'clock a.m. Philippine time every Thursday, and will end at around 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock Philippine time also. So again, thank you all for your time this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Maraming salamat po. Have a pleasant afternoon and a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father George. Thank you, Father Sham, Miss G, Miss Jo, Miss Micah. And
thank you very much. Thank you.
The rain that falls from the distant sky, the water that runs, the source of life, for humankind, when it overflows.